Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the channel if you're new, and welcome back if you're returning. Today we have Geminis for YUGIOH's Edison format. Before we get into it, if you guys like Goat, Edison, Tengu Plant, hat format, we have it all here on the channel. So sub for more. Like the video. Both of those are free of charge. Doesn't cost you a damn dime. Alright, so Geminis. We have a 40 card main, 15 card extra. This deck heavily relies on plants because plants have Gigaplant. Some people call it like a supervised deck, or I don't remember the exact term for it, but yeah, it utilizes plants a lot. So we have a lot of generic plants, and then we have the best Geminis of the format. So here we go. We're opting to play 2 Phoenix Gearfried. Gearfried says this card is treated as a normal monster while face up on the field, or while in the graveyard, which comes into play. While this card is face up on the field, you can normal summon it to have it become an effect monster with this effect. And that last line I just read applies to all the Geminis. Geminis have to be normal summoned twice in order to get their effects. So they initially are vanillas, summon them again, and then they're effect monsters. When your opponent activates a spell card, you can select one Gemini monster from your graveyard, special summon it. Also, you can send one face-up equip spell card you control to the graveyard to negate the activation of a spell or trap that targets a monster on the field and destroy it. So he is really good. And he's a big beater, 2800. Next up, we have some generic plants because we have Gigaplant and Lone Fire. We have 2 Titanial. We have the big Gemini plant himself, Gigaplant. Gigaplant is important to know what he does. He says, this card is treated as a normal yada yada. You can summon it to have an effect. His effect says once per turn, you can special summon one insect or plant monster from your hand or graveyard. Crazy, right? So even if you draw a Titanial, you can get it from your hand to the field as well. Next up, we have 2 Lone Fire Blossom. Being able to infinitely use Lone Fire off of Gigaplant is crazy. So that's really nice. And then we have 2 Blazewing Butterfly. Blazewing Butterfly is an insect, so it also works with Gigaplant. It's also a Gemini. Blazewing Butterfly says you contribute this card to special summon one Gemini monster from your graveyard except Blazewing Butterfly. A Gemini monster special summoned by this effect is treated as an effect monster and gains its effects instantaneously. So that's really nice. Next up, we have some other good Geminis, the lower level ones. We're playing 2 Dark Valkyria, 1 Evocator Chevalier, 1 Toon Magician, and 2 Gemini Soldier. Gemini Soldier is going to be... one second, let me read that ones first. Dark Valkyria says 1 time only. You can place 1 spell counter on this card. This card gains 300 attack for each spell counter on it. You can remove or play 1 spell counter from this card to destroy 1 monster on the field. So it's either a 2100 beater or pops a monster. That's why we're opting to play 2 copies of it. For the one-ofs, we're playing Chevalier. It says you can send 1 face-up equip spell you control to the graveyard, destroy 1 card your opponent controls, and then he's a 1900 beater. And then Toon Magician, again beater. Like, all these cards are beaters, which is pretty nice. He says this card is treated as a tuner. So he's going to be our level 4 tuner, which is really nice for us. And then Gemini Soldier, we're playing this as a 2-of. He's a little one. He says once per turn, if this card will be destroyed by battle, it is not destroyed. If this card battles after damage calculation, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower Gemini monster from your deck, except himself. Pretty nice. And then for the last little card that is pretty standard in these kind of decks, it's a non-Gemini. It's a Nettles, just a level 2 plant tuner. You just want that for Gigaplant, just to constantly be able to summon out a tuner every turn if you want. Go into some synchro plays. And that is it for the main deck for monsters. We have a bunch of spells and traps. Let's get into it. If you guys have any changes for these ratios, if maybe you're more experienced with the deck, because it's hard for me to be experienced with every single deck in the format when I play them all. But if you've played this deck religiously and you have some better ratios, put it in the comments. Other people can go look at it right now. We're watching the video and take notes from your input as well, so it helps out everybody. First up, we have Future Fusion. Future Fusion is obviously used for this guy right here. Super Alloy Beast Raptinus. That's a freaking crazy name. He requires 1 Gemini plus 1 Gemini. Just generic stuff. And then he says all Gemini monsters on the field are treated as effect monsters, gain their effects. So that's really good for us. Next up, we have Heavy Storm. Just really good blowout card. We're playing Dark Factory Mass Production as a one of, because all the Geminis are treated as normals while they're in the graveyard. Because we play a lot of level 8s, we're playing 2 trade-in. It doesn't matter if we put Titanium in the graveyard, because we can just summon out with Gigaplant. So honestly, getting in the graveyard, being able to draw 2, then summon it back is pretty damn good. And then Gearfried's also level 8. So if we kind of brick on him, we have no way getting him out of our hand. Just put him in the graveyard for now. And that's 4 level 8s to 2 trade-ins. I think that's a pretty good ratio. Next up, we're playing 3 Supervise. You don't want to play any less than 3 of this. This card's crazy. It says equip only to a Gemini monster. It is treated as an effect monster, so instantly gains its effects. When this face-up card on the field is sent to the graveyard, select and special summon 1 normal monster from your graveyard. So really good for getting off combos. Next up, we're playing 3 Gemini Spark. We don't play a crazy amount of level 4s, but we do play quite a few. We're playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're playing 6 to a 3 ratio. I don't know, you don't really have to play Gemini Spark, but I like it. I always like cards that allow you to dodge cards like Deep Prison or Bottomless Trap Hole. I think cards like that allow you to go +1 over the course of the interaction. It's the reason why I like Icarus Attack and decks like Gladiator Beasts, being able to tribute for cost and dodge stuff and get more value. But yeah, if you don't know what Gemini Spark does, it says tribute 1 face-up level 4 Gemini monster you control, and select 1 card on the field, destroy the selected card, and then draw 1 card. So basically, it allows you to dodge stuff, and that's another thing. You don't want to get your stuff banished, especially by Bottomless Trap Hole or Deep Prison, because we do use the graveyard a lot, so that kind of hurts us as well. Then we have a bunch of traps. We have Solemn Judgment, Torrential Tribute, Mirror Force, Call of the Haunted, play Titanium, so that's a big target for us there. We don't want to draw too many of them, because we do have ways of normal summoning our monsters fast, but we are opting to play 1 copy of Ultimate Offering. You don't need to play 2. Like I said, we play cards like Supervise, where it gains their effects instantaneously. Gigaplant allows us to special summon, then we can normal summon right after that, so there's really no reason to play too many of this. At least when you play 1, you know you're not going to draw multiples. If you play 2, you potentially draw too many. So next up, we have Reinforced Truth. This is a trap that simply says special summon 1 level 2 or lower warrior type monster from your deck. You cannot conduct a battle phase the turn you activate this card, so activate during opponent's turn if you can, maybe during their end phase. And then our targets are Gemini Soldiers. That's why we have 2 of these. Not only is it a good card, but because you play 1 of these, you don't want to draw 1 of these and have it be not live, so you just increase the chances of this being live by playing 2 copies of that. We have this card, which I think is pretty spicy. I don't know, I like it. It's Gemini Trap Hole. We're playing 2 copies though, because it can be a certain level of copium at times. So I don't want to play 3. I don't want to draw too many of them. But it says activate only when a Gemini monster that is treated as an effect monster is destroyed by battle. Destroy all monsters your opponent controls. So obviously Mirror Force is probably just generally better, but this can do some things. You know, the fact that it can destroy face downs as well, defense position monsters. Yeah, it comes up for sure. I like it. Next up, in addition to Call of the Haunted, we're playing 2 that are generic to normal monsters. We're playing Birthright. It says select 1 normal monster in your graveyard and special summon it and face-up attack. When this card is removed from the field, destroy the monster. So same as Call of the Haunted. And then lastly, we're playing 2 Bottomless Trap Holes. If you guys have any changes to the main deck, please let me know. Let's get into the extra deck. All right, here we go. We got this guy I already mentioned. And then we have a Gemini specific synchro. We got 2 black Brute Drago. He says once per turn you can send 1 Gemini monster from your hand to the graveyard to select and destroy 1 spell or trap your opponent controls. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can select 1 Gemini monster in your graveyard and special summon it. The card special summoned by this effect is treated as an effect monster and gains its effects. He's a 3,000 beater. Pretty good. Next up, we have a bunch of generics. because we play, Nettles, we can have infinite recursion of tuners, especially if you have multiple Gigaplants on field. We have Armory Arm, Cataster, Android, YUGIOH, Bionic, Gaia. I like the fact that Gaia is a normal monster, has synergy with the deck. Black Rose Dragon, Stardust, Colossal, Thought Ruler. We play Darks, Dark End Dragon, and a Mistworm. And that is it for the deck profile, guys. Again, if you like Go, Edison, Tengu, or Hat, subscribe for more. We have it all here. And if you have any suggestions, leave them down below. Peace out.